Hey everyone, it's Michael here. I just wanted to hop on here live for a few minutes today and continue the discussion that I've been having weekly with you all about assumptions that we as family members, caregivers, guardians, fiduciaries tend to make regarding those that we're taking care of or people that we love, people that we want to do well by, and frankly, people that we're all interested in making sure that they do well out there in the community. A couple of weeks ago, I mentioned that we very often want to jump in and assume that when somebody has a mental health issue or cognitive deficit, that we could just go to a doctor and the doctor can give them a magic pill and they'll be better. And I talked at length about that misconception, and I think we can dispel that myth. The other issue that I spoke about last week was the idea about confidentiality versus privacy versus HIPAA, and the ability of providers to take information as opposed to giving information. There's nothing that I have ever seen, read, or heard about where a provider, doctor, clinician, or whomever, lawyer for that matter, cannot get information about a client. As I said in that video, very often you hear things like, we cannot confirm or deny that that person is here at the hospital, or I cannot confirm or deny that this person is a patient of mine or a client of mine. That's well and good. But as a best practice, what we're seeing more and more is the acceptance of family and friends who have an accurate history that can be presented that will really better inform the care and the treatment for a patient or a client or a loved one. So please impress upon caregivers your interest in just providing information so that they can have a full picture of what they're looking at. This week, I want to talk about a subject that's probably a little bit more touchy than both of these previous subjects. And I posted on it last week. And what I've been doing is posting one week and then following up the next week with a live like this. So I'm keeping with that tradition. And this week I want to talk to you about this idea of bad decisions. And when you have an individual that you're caring for, or somebody that you care for, or you are mandated to care for as a fiduciary or a guardian, very often we find ourselves in a trap saying, boy, this guy's idea to live under that bridge is just not jiving with my sensibilities, and therefore I'm not cool with it, and I'm going to interfere. Or, take it a step further. This guy's excessive use of drugs, alcohol, whatever, his gambling addictions is just, really not cool. He's wasting away all his money, and I'm not cool with that as his caregiver. Therefore, I want to intervene. I want to get the courts involved and make him stop. Now, most jurisdictions do have some ability. They have some built-in rules and caveats about the spendthrift and the person who is easily victimized in the community. But we have to remember that what we're always trying to do is ensure that, yes, we want to care for somebody, but on another level, we also want to provide them with a degree of autonomy. So the courts look very strongly at your involvement and your sort of interference, if you will, with somebody's decision-making ability. In other words, just because you don't like that your client drinks too much soda does not necessarily mean that you as the fiduciary should or could intervene and say no more drinking soda. Of course, I've actually, this is a real situation that I have had, where I had a client who was acting in an addictive and compulsive way around drinking soda, but the problem was that he had serious blood sugar levels, and the sugar obviously was really disrupting that. So that's a different story altogether. But remember, typically speaking, we are trying to empower our clients and our loved ones to do more for themselves. And we are here to help them to get to that next level, whatever that may be in their lives. The idea of acting as a fiduciary or as a guardian, you almost want to go into it saying, boy, I really hope this only has to be a temporary thing, or acting as a caregiver for someone. And I don't want to basically impose or or impart all of my my ethics and my own morals onto somebody else who may not subscribe to the same belief system as me. And it becomes important and valuable to sort of compartmentalize your thoughts and your idea of what is good versus somebody else's thoughts and their idea of what is good. I mean, this brings into question the whole idea and the whole concept around cultural diversity, religious diversity. So you gotta really tread lightly in this subject, and remember that people have the right to make bad decisions. They have the right to make stupid choices. It really hurts, and it's hard to be a loved one, and it hurts and it's hard to be a fiduciary where you think, whoa, if this guy goes ahead and makes this choice, is it going to come back and impact me? Or is it going to come back and impact my ability to provide care for this person down the road? And those are all legit questions. By all means, they should all be explored. But what I'm saying here is that just the nature of making a bad decision or a bad choice does not necessarily give you grounds, and it's not necessarily a best practice for you to jump in and try to save the world and try to save your client or your loved one from everything that could possibly go wrong out there. It's just a way to really drive a wedge between you and your client, and it's really a way to just sort of tie yourself all up in knots and get yourself to the point where you won't be doing yourself any good, and you certainly won't be doing your client any good. So if you want to read more about this stuff, please join my Guardian and Fiduciary forum. There's a Guardian and Fiduciary forum right here on Facebook, Professional Guardians and Fiduciaries. And I also have the Guardian and Fiduciary forum in LinkedIn. If you're more familiar with either one, please join. These are the types of discussions that we'd like to have to encourage people to participate, to chime in. I see my friend Brian is on here. I know that Brian, hi Brian, I know that he has had care issues within his family where he's been taking care of a loved one. And so a lot of caregiver, fiduciary, guardian sort of roles and responsibilities and concepts really overlap and intersect with each other. So I highly encourage you guys all to check out the posts that I'm and check out the community that I'm trying to foster here in Facebook and on LinkedIn. And thanks again for being here, and check out what I've written for you, and I will catch you next week. I will be in Phoenix at the High Performance Academy live event, as well as the Growth Mastermind event. So both of those are taking place in Phoenix, and I will be attending the Arizona Fiduciary Association conference. So I got a busy week next week, but I will be back and keeping you all in mind, and I will continue to do my posting and hopefully get some dialogue going with you all. All right, so until then, I'll talk to you later. Be proactive, be proficient, change lives.